Well, g'day tubers, how are we people? Hope you are all well and not suffering from the China virus and its various strains. Guys, I've got to make an apology. In the last part 2, and that only went out last night or the night before. Pardon me, I was trying to diagnose why that Wisconsin engine wouldn't go, or it was backfiring and nearly breaking my hand and trying to run backwards and so on and so on. And I presumed all sorts of things. As you remember, I said, yeah, I reckon the camshaft has spun a bit and so on and so on and so on. You know what? The lesson to be learned here, and I make just as many mistakes as anyone. The lesson to be learned is do your diagnostics first before you go berserk. And that's exactly what this video is about. It's only short, but the message is diagnose your problem before you go jumping to conclusions and, thinking the worst. As it turned out, it was nowhere near as bad as what we thought. So let's hook right in, guys. Let's have a look and see what happened.
Well, tubers, before we go crazy on our Wisconsin, we're just going to go through the numbers and just check the magneto timing one more time. This is the actual book for it, model AENLD, and this is has Australian supplements from Ronaldson Brothers and Tippett, who most Aussies into motors will know who they are. We're going to go to the page here about magneto timing, and there we have that. Now we're going to go through the numbers. The magneto is properly timed to the engine at the factory, ruddy. First, remove the screen over the flywheel air intake. Well, that's that. We've got that off. Taking off the screws. Well, we've done that, yeah. This will expose the timing marks on flywheel and shroud for timing magneto, which are as shown. So you can see that there's a DC there and a scratch on the housing, and also there's a cross in the one of the fins of the flywheel. Now I've marked that. There's the mark in the housing. There's the one on the flywheel. You can see there's a little X in there. Now, obviously that's going to be on top dead centre twice in a 4-cycle engine. What we've got to do is make sure that we are on the compression stroke, and that's exactly what it says here. And how they suggest you do it, and it's the same old trick for one of the earliest things you learn. Put your hand over the spark plug hole, and when you feel compression, you are on you are coming up to firing top dead centre. So I'll do that. I'll have to put the camera down, and I'll be right back. Righto, guys, we're coming up to compression and firing. As you can see, we're a little bit more than 90 degrees off, but we are rotating clockwise. So we are coming up to the firing point. Now, if you read what it says, when the magneto is properly timed, the impulse coupling will snap when the DC and X marked vane of the flywheel lines up with the mark on the flywheel shroud. So as we go clockwise and as that comes around, that should you should hear the magneto, the impulse part of the magneto snap at that point, and that will indicate that it's fired. So it should fire somewhere in this area, preferably slightly before, so it's slightly advanced. Once again, not too much. So I'm going to have to put the camera down. We're going to test that. Well, it just went click, and have a look where the mark is on the flywheel, and have a look where our timing mark is. So to me, that is 180 degrees out, which would account for it trying to run backwards. Why that is, I don't know. Now, if we look in our little, hang on, I'll get a light. Can't see in there. I can't see the little cross on the, what's his name, on the gear in there. I reckon we're 180 out. Now, before I go tearing this down, I'm going to pull that magneto. I'm going to turn the turn that tooth thing around 180 degrees. Now that will mean that the mark on the tooth. That will mean that when we come to line it all up, we won't be able to see that mark. Or hang on, no, correct that. We'll try it first. Just let me see how we go with this. Righto guys, we've turned the magneto 180 degrees. We're on our compression stroke, as you see. We're coming up to top dead centre. As I rotate that, it should fire, or that impulse should click in that area. So we're going to try it and see. Well, that's roughly where she fired, guys. So I don't know. I'm going to tighten that. I'm not going to put that side shroud back on yet. I'm going to tighten that bloody pull out. I'm going to put some oil in it, and I'm going to give it one more try before we go crazy pulling it to bits. Timing could have been 180 out. Well, it was 180 out according to the book. Yeah, this might be easier than I thought. We're going to find out.
Kick it in the guts, Barry.
Well, there you have it, guys. Diagnostics in action. It was one of the very first things I was taught as an apprentice is, pardon me, a good mechanic always diagnoses the problem first, doesn't just jump to conclusions, which is exactly what I did. So I'm glad I just did a little bit more research before I tore the whole bloody motor down. But having said that, for one reason or another, I'm taking all the painted parts off again and giving it another lick of paint. I just wasn't happy with how the paint came up, but the motor itself runs quite nice. It tuned up nicely, and yeah, she turned out a ripper. So I've got another couple there to do, as you know. They won't be getting done anytime soon. It looks like I am moving on about the 21st of March is our settlement date. So I've actually got to start packing up the shed, not looking at new projects, but there will be more to follow. Stay tuned to this channel, people. Thank you to my subscribers, my viewers, and anyone else. As usual, stay clear of the China virus, and whatever you do, enjoy your little projects and have fun with them. You don't have to satisfy anyone but yourself, guys. Take care.